18 new albums were announced this week in what was probably the most prolific week of album release news so far this year. We've got the full list to show you, plus a short list of our favorites and what to expect from those. What's up, y'all? I'm Devon here again for Obligatory. We do a weekly music news segment on this channel every single Friday. Today is February 9, 2024, and at the end of this video, we'll have a fat list of upcoming albums and projects for the rest of the year to look forward to, so stay tuned for that. Here is our list of the 18 new album announcements that were made official this week. It's a little bit of everything, but you'll quickly notice that there is a lot of pop stuff here. Some pretty big names all pushing towards a spring release. Maybe this has something to do with the Grammys being this week and people wanting to announce their projects around that. There is a lot to get into here, so let's break down some of our faves. Now, it's a little hard not to start with the absolute biggest name on the board here in Taylor Swift. She just had herself yet another successful Grammy night this week, and while accepting her award for Midnight's winning the Best Pop Vocal Album, she announced that her new 11th studio album was titled The Tortured Poets Department, and that it's coming very soon, April 19th. I was personally excited to see that Florence and the Machine is going to show up here on the song called Florida. So those are the two features, Post Malone and Florence and the Machine. So far, we don't have a single yet, but the album is coming in 2 months, so maybe we get that soon. Then, kind of in the same vein here, we have Kacey Musgraves announcing her upcoming 6th studio album titled Deeper Well, and the lead single by the same name just came out this week. Her 2018 and 2021 albums, Golden Hour and Starcrossed respectively, were both really highly praised for making a more modern fold into the fabric of country music. And at age 27, I sense that there's some revelatory material here as she's maturing as a person, as a songwriter. Now, this one's going to have 14 tracks and be 42 minutes long. May 15th is when this one is coming, and that's not a Friday release date, so I'm kind of interested to know what the significance of that specific date is. Then we got news that Caroline Polachek is releasing a deluxe version of Desire I Want to Turn Into You next week on Valentine's Day for the 1-year anniversary of that album release. Now, in doing so, she also released a new version of the song Butterfly Net, which features Way as Blood. A super exciting collab that yields great results. This is one they've been teasing for a while. They actually performed this song on stage together. And I think the material on this album will be more of that sort of thing. Remakes of songs, maybe some remixes by popular names. I'm not really sure. Not sure if any new material is going to show up on here either, but we won't have to wait very long. Like I said, February 14th is when this one is dropping. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm always kind of keeping my ear to the ground for new Vampire Weekend music, and it's something they've been teasing for years at this point. I'm a big fan of their first 3 albums. Their 2019 album, Father of the Bride, is okay. It's definitely got some interesting collaborators on it like Steve Lacy and Danielle Haim. Like I said, we've been getting some trickling news about Vampire Weekend dropping an album probably this year, and now we get the title God Was Only Above Us and the release date of April 5th. Much of the lyrics for this album were said to be written around 2019, so around the release of the last album, and currently there is a trailer out now, and we're set to get 2 new singles next week on Friday, February 16th. Singer-songwriter Maggie Rogers announced her new album is titled Don't Forget Me, alongside the release of a single by the same name with a video out now as well. This particular single is one she's been performing around at shows throughout much of last year, so it's a concept that she's been brewing on for some time now, and this will be her 3rd album following up 2019's Heard It in a Past Life and 2022's Surrender. Beth Gibbons, singer-songwriter of the groundbreaking trip-hop group Portishead, surprised us all last week when she announced that she would soon be releasing her debut solo studio album. All it took was a week, and now we have a new single, plus word on when the album is coming out. May 17th. This album is titled Lives Outgrown. This one will be 10 tracks. The lead single is out now with a video titled Floating on a Moment. Definitely one of the most surprising and significant album releases of the year so far, and I'm steadily looking forward to hearing it. Then we got the announcement of a new Iron and Wine album, the first since 2017's Beast Epic. This one is also 10 tracks, with one of them all in good time, featuring the legendary Fiona Apple. The first single dropped today, titled You Never Know, and the album is releasing April 26th. And then a quick bonus for you, because this one didn't announce this week, but late last week, ScHoolboy Q confirmed that his new album, titled Blue Lips, is coming March 1, so just a few weeks from right now. Now, we did a whole breakdown on everything that we already know about this album in last week's news segment, but since then, he has released 2 new music videos that are not on streaming service. You'd have to actually go watch the videos for these, along with a sort of vlog episode. So there's definitely some ScHoolboy Q material to catch up on. It's not even some of the stuff that that we've already heard and that we kind of mentioned in the last week's episode. Everything I'm hearing about this album and hearing from this album so far seems really good. And I think this really could be one of the top-notch releases of the year, but we won't have to wait that long to find out coming March 1. Those were some of our favorite album announcements from this week. Again, there were like 10 more, so check out the list here once again. And this just stacks up on top of what is already forming to be a really solid year of album releases. Again, at the end of this video, we got the full slate of albums coming for the rest of the year, all listed out with titles and dates. Now, for the news stories of the week, rumors have surfaced to the web that Yasiin Bey, aka Mos Def, and The Alchemist could be releasing an album or have an album in the works. Now, this comes from fans who were in attendance at the recent Yasiin Bey concert in Amsterdam this week. He's been doing some like MF Doom themed shows, and they report that he announced on stage that what they're working on is coming soon. So we'll put a pin in this and we'll see. Now, the good news is that in December, The Alchemist actually was playing some unreleased music that him and Yasiin have been working on. So at least that much is true. Again, still very much in the rumor stage of things here. I haven't even seen footage of the announcement, despite there being clips on the internet of him performing that night. Next up, Megan Thee Stallion announced a new partnership with Warner Music Group, and it's pretty interesting. Now, she's been a free agent lately after parting ways with the company that signed her, in the early onset of her rise to superstardom. Now, to be honest, she probably lost out on a lot of money in that entire situation, as multiple times she tried to shed the contract and get out of the deal and was litigating with them, and at times it was even a lot of drama. But recently, her and that company were able to come to terms on an agreement that would allow her to exit the deal. And now we're getting news of her new agreement with Warner Music Group, which is one of the 3 major record label companies. And this agreement is going to see her retaining her masters and releasing music through an independent label as Warner Music Group. And this agreement is going to see her retaining her masters and releasing music through an independent label. Warner Music Group is going to act as a distributor, providing some resources to her, but at the end of the day, she's going to be releasing and putting up the money for her own project. Her music will be released in-house through Hot Girl Productions. She's going to be putting up the money, she's going to be taking the risk and taking the profits. So with somebody who's been through so much in the last couple of years, it's hard to say, she's really coming out ahead here, but I could not imagine a more advantageous position to be in. She's going to make a lot of money. The Philly indie rock band Mannequin Pussy released a new single this week. They have an album, I Got Heaven, coming soon that fans are really looking forward to. The music video that they released alongside this single has some people a little riled up. It caused some backlash, and they responded to said backlash. So the new single, Nothing Like, is out now, and you can watch this music video, which animates the lead vocalist of the group, but it uses AI tools to achieve this constantly morphing and kind of uncanny valley look mixed with like a stop motion kind of effect. Now, AI generated visual art, when it's used by bigger names like this, irritates people on 2 premises. Mostly, one, the medley of images in the video contains people's original art, reused without consent, notice, or credit. And on the flip side, you're also not hiring someone to produce the original visual art when you use these AI tools. Now, someone did actually produce and capture footage of Mannequin Pussy's lead vocalist and then mapped that to the AI art, but even in that case, some of the legwork has been removed and the original imagery is offloaded to a computer. And the band has responded to this via Twitter. They do feel that the AI-generated term is reductive and kind of ignores the manpower that did actually go into making the video. So, no apologies. MP is standing on business about this one, and I can't really say I have a really strong stance on the situation either way. But yet again, it's the kind of reminder, the kind of rude awakening that we need to keep preparing ourselves for the future of these tools and to have some rules and principles and guidelines around the use of them, particularly for commercially artistic purposes. Period. And finally, closing things with some news about boygenius, who had themselves a pretty good Grammy weekend as well. This is a supergroup that combines Phoebe Bridgers, Lucy Dacus, and Julian Baker, and they won Best Alternative Album at the Grammys for their debut album as a band. Now with that, it's been reported that they are closing in on a hiatus for the group, as they'll presumably go back to individual endeavors moving forward. The announcement came during a set of acoustic secret shows that they were doing around Grammy weekend, in which they referenced several times that these would be their last shows and that they were heading for some sort of a hiatus. Now, none of us really know what the future plans are for boygenius. I assume at some point, way down the road, they might come back and do another record, because this one just did way too well. I mean, they really made a splash coming together and then releasing the project, following it up with some extra stuff, and Like I said, they won a Grammy on this thing. So, okay, so that's it for the news. We have our notable new releases and editors' picks from this week of new releases. Now, this, of course, isn't everything that dropped this week, but these are our selects, our favorites, our editors' picks, like I said, of albums and EP and singles that dropped this week. And just to take another quick look at albums announced this week, we went over this at the start of the video, but this is the full 18 album slate that came along. We got a pretty decent slate of albums releasing next week, and then our albums releasing the rest of February. Mostly I'm looking forward to the MGMT album. And then we got our albums for the rest of the year. We probably got about 100 albums releasing from March 1 to June 1, at least what's on the docket for right now. Obviously, things are going to continue to get announced. We got our ear to the ground for you. That's what we do. Anything that gets announced, we'll have it up on this list. That's all we have for today. We really appreciate you watching to the end of this video. Shout out to you, and clicking the like button is really the only other way we could ask you to just do us a solid. And if you haven't already seen, we dropped a video yesterday about our 10 favorite Black indie and hardcore bands. We're going to be doing some Black History Month content for the month of February, and I'll see you. All right. Thanks again for watching. Peace out to you, and thanks again.